The Pentagon has now completed the first Guantanamo Periodic Review Board and just added one more detainee, Mahmud Mujahid, to the list of people to be approved to be released. In a press release, the board said they found that continued law of war detention is no longer necessary to protect against continuing significant threat to the United States, and that Mujahid is therefore eligible for transfer. Although he has been approved for release, it is unclear when and where Mujahid will be released. To talk more about the Guantanamo Periodic Review Board and military justice at the detention facility, I am joined now by attorney Thomas Wilner. Hi, Tom. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
So can you tell us more about Obama's Periodic Review Board? What is their purpose and what have they accomplished in regards to closing Gitmo?
Well, they've accomplished very little, and the periodic review boards were supposed to be established years ago. President Obama promised that they'd go into effect about 4 years ago, and they haven't. They've just started. What they're supposed to do is review people and see whether they pose a threat to U.S. security. And this was the first one they've just completed, and they said that this fellow doesn't.
Now, Mujahid's trial, which was under Obama's review board, it was conducted via a teleconference, and the board was in a secret location in Washington, D.C., while the detainee and his attorney were in Cuba at Guantanamo Bay. And the press was not invited, which further led to the Pentagon saying they were unprepared to let reporters watch, in which the Pentagon envoy for Guantanamo closures, Paul Lewis, said he was surprised to discover the detention center staff had no plans to accommodate the media for the hearings. Why the lack of transparency with this process?
Right, it's disgusting. It's disgusting. And let me say, you call this a trial. It wasn't even a trial. It's a review of somebody who they're not going to try. He's never charged. He's held without charge for all these years. And they say they have the right to review to see whether he poses a threat to the U.S. Nobody's really allowed to look at it. It's disgusting. I mean, there are 7 or 10 people at Guantanamo who should be charged. The others should be released. And Obama now has the authority to do it, and he should get off his butt and do it.
Well, even President Bush's trial, the detainees, or trial, they met face-to-face, and they allowed the press to watch. Now, other than controversial treatments at Gitmo, such as waterboarding, detaining teenagers, force-feeding, and suicides, which we've now heard about, do you think the administration has anything else to hide here?
Well, what the administration is hiding, and I think in a way the torture and the other things are a red herring. They take attention away from things. The worst torture at Guantanamo is that 155 men are held there without any sort of charge or any ability to prove their innocence and get out of there. I mean, it's been recognized as of 2004, is recognized that most of the people, that all the people there, none of them posed a threat. It was only people brought in after that who were high-value detainees, some of whom should be charged. The others should be released. The only reason they're not is because of political fear. Somebody's got to get the courage to close the place. These people are not a threat, as they said about this person.
Realistically, when can we close Guantanamo?
Well, let me tell you, this is the 12th anniversary of Guantanamo tomorrow. There should be no 13th anniversary. Obama has the power to close this place now. Congress passed legislation he asked for. He needs to get off his butt and do it and close it and send these people home. We have a person from England there who's been cleared for release for 6 years. My goodness, what's the risk of sending an English resident back to England? There's no excuse.
What would it take to close it?
Obama getting the courage to push the people out of there to the many countries willing to take them, and not being afraid of Republican criticism from a few people for sending people home. He's got to have the courage to do what's right.
Well, it's unclear where Mujahid will be released to. He said he would rather be released into a Western country, but he's willing to go back to his native land of Yemen if he could get there faster. Whichever one would happen faster is where he wants to go. Why would he want to be released into a Western country, and how is that even possible?
Where would you rather live? I mean, you know, a lot of people would like to be released into Western countries. But the problem really isn't so much. There is a problem in Yemen because we say that Yemen is insecure and all this. But, you know, there are ways to establish facilities in Yemen to keep people and have them watched if that's a danger. And we could close this place tomorrow. It's not that hard. I mean, people make all these excuses that it's hard. It's not that hard. I mean, my gosh, we're not releasing an Englishman to England.
Well, what is the negotiations process like for getting countries to agree to take these detainees?
Well, I'll tell you, about 2 years ago, I had a country that offered me, said, we'll take people from Guantanamo. And I called into the government and said, I've got a country that will take people in. He said, we've got plenty of countries. What we can't get is the White House to sign the authority to send them there. So the problem isn't finding the countries. It's in the White House. The White House needs to have the guts to send these people home. Obama makes all these statements about how terrible Guantanamo is. He's got to do something about it.
Great. Thank you so much. That was
Thank
attorney
you.
Thomas Wilner.
Thank you.